Before we begin, please like and subscribe if you like comics and superheroes. Now, back to the story. Superman gazes at his newborn daughter Laura Lane Kent, her innocent eyes reflecting his own. "Welcome to the world," he whispers, overwhelmed with emotion. Lois, cradling the baby, smiles and softly says, "This is your daddy." Superman's expression softens as he takes in the moment. His voice barely a whisper. "I never knew what I was missing." The depth of his longing for this family is clear, and his heart swells as he looks at them both, realizing just how much he had yearned for this. Superman leans down to kiss Lois gently on the forehead as she cradles their daughter. "He's going to be very, very overprotective of you," Lois says softly, her words laced with warmth. Clark wraps his arms around them, his voice heavy with emotion. "Someone I could eventually truly hold without hurting." He carefully takes Laura into his hands, his expression filled with awe. "This is all I ever wanted," he whispers, his gaze shifting from Lois to their child, his dream of a family finally realized. Superman descends into Metropolis Prison, his presence commanding as the guards watch silently. Inside the visitation room, he sits across from Bruce Wayne, separated by glass. Picking up the phone, Superman leans in. "I have news, Bruce," Clark begins. "It's a girl." Bruce, his usual sharp demeanor intact despite the prison jumpsuit, responds evenly. "How did you know?" Superman asks, curiosity slipping through. Bruce smirks faintly. "It was 50-50, he replies, the hint of humor cutting through the tension. Clark's expression shifts, the weight of unspoken thoughts pressing between them. He breaks the silence, his voice calm but laced with pain. "Why did you do it?" Bruce doesn't flinch. "The Joker," he begins, tone steady. "He almost destroyed an entire city, all these people, and he almost took everything away from you." His words carry conviction, though his eyes reveal the storm beneath. He was going to try again. Clark's gaze hardens, the enormity of the moment hanging heavy. "You killed," he says, the accusation pointed. "You went against everything you believe in. For me." Bruce doesn't deny it. Instead, he replies shortly, "Yes." Clark steps forward, walking straight through the wall and glass separating them, the barrier crumbling effortlessly in his way. Without hesitation, he pulls Bruce into a firm embrace. "Thank you, Bruce," Clark says, his voice steady but full of sincerity. Bruce, slightly surprised, smirks faintly as they part. "With good behavior, you could be out by the time she's 2, Clark adds, his tone lighter now, attempting to ease the weight of the moment. Bruce chuckles, his trademark dry humor cutting through the tension. "I'm not exactly behaving well in here, Clark. Beating up a lot of people." Their shared understanding lingers between them, unspoken, but deeply felt. Clark, still holding on to Bruce's arm, speaks with quiet intensity. "Say the word and we walk out of here." His tone carries both determination and a tinge of desperation, a plea for Bruce to reconsider his confinement. Bruce's expression hardens, though there's no malice in his gaze. "I killed a man, Clark," he states firmly, his voice unwavering, the weight of his actions fully accepted. Clark shakes his head slightly. "The Joker wasn't a man," he counters, his voice soft but resolute. Bruce steps back slightly, creating deliberate distance. "I need to do the time," he says firmly, eyes locking with Clark's unyielding. His words hang in the air, leaving Clark with no choice but to respect his decision. Lois, tired yet teasing, remarks, "Able to leap tall buildings, but can't get our baby to sleep." Clark cradles their restless child, offering a sheepish, "Sorry." In one such moment, Laura surprises them both. Her first word, "Mom." Lois is stunned. Later, Laura takes her first steps, a moment of pure joy as Martha and Jonathan cheer her on, capturing the milestone in their hearts. Clark beams with pride, his love for his daughter evident. Lois's voice cuts through the room, sharp with urgency. "Clark," she yells, holding up her phone, her face a mix of awe and fear. "What is it?" Clark asks, concern flashing in his eyes. Lois stammers. "Laura," she utters. To their surprise, Laura is flying. Laura soars into the skies for the first time, her wide eyes filled with a mix of wonder and panic. Clark calmly guides her. "It's okay, Laura," he reassures her. Later, Clark supports Laura during target practice with Oliver Queen. Her small frame stands tall, lasers shooting from her eyes with growing precision. "You're doing fine," Clark encourages, his presence steady and proud, as Laura begins to embrace her extraordinary gifts under the watchful eye of her mentor. As Laura takes on a fiery satellite plummeting toward Earth, Clark hovers nearby, ready to intervene. "I'm here if you need me." But he stops himself, watching her strength and determination shine. She wrestles the massive object, her grit turning what could have been a catastrophe into triumph. Later, in a simulated battle, Laura faces off against an army of combat droids. Her punches land with precision, her movements embodying raw power and growing skill. From the sidelines, a watchful figure observes with quiet pride, murmuring, "You've got this." Each moment proves that Laura is stepping fully into her destiny. As Laura floats above the earth, the vast expanse of space reflecting in her eyes, she speaks soft, "Dad." Her voice carries both uncertainty and determination. Clark, hovering nearby, immediately turns his focus to her. "What is it?" he asks, concerned but patient. Laura stares at Earth, her voice trembling. "It's everything. The world is pulling apart." Clark watches her silently, his expression fresh and steady. "What do we do?" she asks, her vulnerability clear as they hover over the fragile planet below. Clark's gaze hardens as he speaks, his voice firm. "We can do what we want. We have the power. We can stop them from hurting themselves. We can control the destiny of this world." Laura smirks, her expression laced with playful sarcasm. "Or, we could not sound like big, great supervillains," she quips, pointing an accusatory, yet teasing finger. Clark's intensity softens slightly at her words, her levity cutting through the tension. Laura pushes back, emphasizing they can't solve every problem for humanity. Clark listens, amused by her determination, but thoughtful, as she expresses a desire to connect with people directly, drawing inspiration from his father's legacy. Her conviction leaves him reflective, yet hopeful. Later, Laura steps to the podium, her voice steady as she declares herself a child of two worlds. She speaks of her father's lost home and the dangers of silencing the truth, her words resonating with the room. Clark watches proudly, the weight of their shared mission reflected in his expression. Laura's voice grows stronger, filled with urgency as she addresses the room. She warns against letting Earth follow the fate of her father's lost world, pleading for unity over division. Her gaze sweeps the audience, landing on heroes and leaders alike, as she calls for an end to greed, cruelty, and ignorance. With determination, she declares the need for a greater fight, the fight for their survival. Despite her youth, her conviction is clear. She believes they can still save the world together. As the event ends, Bruce teases Clark about the speech being preachy. Diana praises Laura's powerful impact, drawing smiles from Clark and Lois. Laura shares a confident smile as she prepares for what's coming next. Lois teases Diana about Bruce's comment on the speech, but Diana counters, suggesting even Bruce's cynicism wavered during Laura's address. As the group's energy shifts to action, Lois asks Diana if it's time to get started, signaling the beginning of their next mission. Lois steps onto the porch, asking about Laura. Clark, watching the night sky, explains she's in Greenland with scientists. As Crypto chases a baseball, Clark quietly admits it's going too quickly. His anxiety lingers. Clark, his voice heavy, confides in Lois. "Everything. I wish we had more time together." She touches his hand, grounding him. He admits, "The voices are calling again." Lois reassures him. "Block them out." Her warmth cuts through his despair as she pleads, "Stay with me, Smallville. We'll have many more days."